probably the most difficult economic situation since World War II. Because of the lockdowns and travel restrictions to contain the virus, business is coming to an abrupt halt globally. And it isn't a question of whether there'll be a global recession, it's a question of how deep it will be and how long it will last. The economic downturn started in China this quarter. The economy will contract for the first time since 1976 at the end of the Cultural Revolution. Europe and the U.S. will follow with a delay of a month or two, given that the epidemic started later there. But the spread of the epidemic is picking up speed and causing more economic damage. To use one example, a member of the Federal Reserve said in the second quarter, U.S. unemployment would be 30% and the U.S. economy would shrink by half. In other words, half of the U.S. economy would disappear, at least temporarily. So it's very, very bad. No one has ever experienced anything like this in their lifetimes. There's the risk that you could lose your job, a very real risk that you could lose your job. Because with businesses shutting down, that means they don't have income and they have to lay off workers. And that has a domino effect on the rest of the world. One business shuts down and stops ordering from another, which has to shut down, which affects another, and so forth. So people's livelihoods, their ability to earn money and their ability to pay for basics like food and rent are at risk in the next few months. It's damaged, yes, but it's not dead. And remember, you're starting from a much higher point in terms of losses. So the U.S. stock market, for instance, is down about 30%. So a third of its value is gone. But 2/3 of its value is still there. And most of these companies are good companies that are going to survive the situation. In a year, maybe 2 years, they will be back where they were in February. So no, the stock market is not dead. It's taking a pummeling right now. Most Western governments are pouring money into the economy. For instance, the U.S. Federal Reserve, the U.S. Central Bank, said they'll pretty much buy any security that's out there to buy in order to pump cash into the market. Because in times of trouble, people want to hold cash. And so there's a shortage of cash, which is bidding up interest rates, which is exactly the opposite of what you want in the current situation. And also the Fed is willing to give loans to small businesses. Unprecedented. They've never done this before. In addition, the U.S. Congress and the White House have just agreed on a $2 trillion rescue plan, which will include bailouts for U.S. businesses and $1,200 for virtually every American. So they're pushing money into people's hands, because the problem with the current situation is people are so scared that they're not spending. And if they're not spending, then that means businesses aren't getting revenue, and that's bad for everybody. If it's one business, it's not a problem. But when all the businesses, as we have now, all over the world, are shutting up shop, then it hurts everybody, and it's a big dwindling spiral, and they have to stop it. Just be frugal and know that the government is trying to help, and they will come help, but you need to hunker down and save your money as best you can, because it's going to take a number of months for this to resolve itself.